Good evening and welcome. I'm Selena Mead on the Vsb Tv 11 Evening News on this Friday, June the 27th. In our top story tonight, because of the significantly underfunded positions of both the Public Service Superannuation Fund and the ministers and members of the Legislature Pension Fund, Finance Minister Bob Richard has tabled a bill designed to cancel the mandatory cost of living increase and freeze the pensions at their current levels. Describing the two pensions as unsustainable if the cost of living increase is applied in June, Minister Richards told Parliament that if other benefit changes are introduced to the plans, it may be possible to restore indexing to all pensioners in the future, depending on how the economic situation improves. Such benefit changes could include increasing the age at which an unreduced pension is payable from 60 years of age to 65 or from 55 years of age to 60 for special groups. Bermuda's Finance Minister, Bob Richards, he may not speak French, but he has learned in recent weeks what un paradis fiscal stands for, and that's a tax haven to a Frenchman or at least a French government. He returned recently from a visit in Paris and reported to Parliament how he handled their concerns.
I found that there was a profound lack of knowledge of what Bermuda is, what we stand for, what our constitutional position is, what our main industry is, what the contribution we make to the global economy is. There was a great a lack of appreciation for all of that. But the people I talked to weren't average Joes. They were senior people in the French government, and they didn't know. So I think in as much as that's concerned, it was very beneficial. They only had Bermuda sort of labeled as a paradis fiscal, which means a tax haven. But they're still really focused on large multinationals doing business in their country and using various double taxation treaties to avoid paying tax in France. And a lot of those countries have holding companies in Bermuda, and the revenues end up in these companies in Bermuda. They don't benefit Bermuda very much, but they put us in the crosshairs of people who are on a crusade against multinationals and profit shifting.
Bermuda recently made a name for itself when our very own flyboarder, Callan Burns, came third in the Flyboard North American Championship. Flyboarding began to take off in Bermuda when Mike Swan opened up Coconut Rockets, flyboarding in Dockyard for tourists and locals alike. Mr. Swan said he came up upon the sport and he knew instantly that it would be an awesome water sport to bring to Bermuda. VSB's Julia Smith spoke with Mike Swan about flyboarding and Coconut Rocket's place on the world stage.
It's the world's hottest, fastest growing water sport.
And how is it going over with the tourists? I know that people traveling through Dockyard, I'm sure oftentimes can see people sort of like flying through the air.
Yeah, we got a fair amount of walk-in traffic. It's not going quite as well as I had hoped, mainly because it's so new that no one has a clue that there's a device you can attach to your feet that's powered by a jet ski that enables you to fly. That is a heck of a lot of fun. So, flyboarding has only been around for 2 years. So most people don't know about it yet. But we're doing okay in spite of that. We've got a really good local following, lots of repeat customers coming back. So, no, it's very positive. Yeah, well, actually, on the international front, we've had a number of things thrown at us, including television. We are a part of a television pilot that's airing in the fall, and plus we've been approached with 2 other television opportunities as well, so it's a lot of good things. But the biggest thing, the latest thing is Flyboard North American Championships, the very first one, and Callan Burns, who's been with us since about maybe 10, 11 months, his skill set is top shelf. He's been honing his skills. We've been working together to get him pro material, and he's been researching guys, studying what they do, figuring out what they don't do, and he's a top shelf pilot. And we went to the North American Championships hoping to possibly get a podium, hoping to make some big noise for Coconut Rockets and Bermuda, and also hoping to bring the Flyboard World Cup to Bermuda. And we pretty much achieved all 3.
Callan Burns, if you've seen him at the Christmas BUEI parade, he has performed flyboarding and regularly teaches tourists and locals how to enjoy the sport in Mangrove Bay. Callan's skills were put to the test when he competed with flyboarders from South America, Europe, and North America at the recent championships in North America. Vsb's Julia Spat spoke to Callan about his third-place win.
Initially going out there, it was kind of a culture shock. It was a ton of people, much more people than I performed in front of. The water was cold. You had a ton of pro flyboarders that I was following since day one, so these guys was like massive to me to be up next to them. So initially my thoughts was just to like compete, do my best. Obviously everyone wants a podium, everyone wants to win. I was just like, if I get the last 16 with these tough guys, then I'm happy.
If you're willing to try something new and/or you're an adventure enthusiast, if you'd like to try flyboarding, you can find Coconut Rockets on Facebook or by going to www.coconutrockets.com. Questions put by independent MP Terry Lister to Transport Minister Sean Crockwell about the impact of the fleet of minibuses on the taxi industry elicited statistics that raised members' eyebrows in Parliament today.
The minister caught me by surprise when he informed us that there are now 66 minibuses on the road, 11 of which have been put on since he became the minister, meaning that he inherited 55. He also told us that there are 26 pending applications which could be converted to minibuses. And if you do the mathematics, what that means is 37 new buses would have come on the road since December 13, and that's 37 against an original 55. That's an increase of over 70%. And if you play that out and consider the number of seats that the minibus offers versus the number of seats the taxi offers, the taxi drivers are going to be in a pretty bad way if all of this happens. Now, the minister then said, well, we're looking at a moratorium, but the moratorium will not include the people who have already been approved. What can the minister do? Well, first, he really should take a closer look at what the Public Service Vehicle Licensing Board is doing. That's first and foremost. Secondly, he can consider those vehicles that have been given licenses, or those owners who have been given licenses to operate in the cruise ship business, having licenses that are specific to that route and that season. Now, the third thing that the minister should do is to do an immediate review of the use of the public buses on the Dockyard to Horseshoe Bay route. I have seen some afternoons 5 buses parked in the lay-by waiting for people to come up from the beach. Now, if we're going to have this number of minibuses in action, we certainly don't need that number of buses, government buses, which of course are attracting overtime and premium rates.
Construction employers carrying out work on designated projects will be charged a concessionary payroll tax of 5.25%, recoverable from the employee, under a plan revealed in Parliament by Finance Minister Bob Richards.
We're trying to encourage these, what we call strategic projects. And we kind of took a look at the whole general construction situation, and the implementation of it was pretty daunting. So at the moment we've limited the concessions to the projects that have been screened and approved and encouraged by the Economic Development Committee, and that will include a number of large firms, but also include a lot of subcontracting goes on, so it'll include a lot of small firms as well.
You froze, I think, the payroll tax at 5.
Yeah, so the employer portion of the payroll tax won't have to be paid, and the employee, well, there'll be a 5 1/4 that they can take out of the employee pay packet if they so choose, and that'll still have to be paid. But what it does just reduces the cost of employment, and hopefully that will act as a stimulating factor, because costs have become really critical for these projects. Guys who want to develop, people want to develop in Bermuda, they take a look around us and see that has tremendous potential. And when they start to do the sums, they say, wow, this place is really expensive to build in. So we're doing what we can to reduce that cost.
PLP parliamentarian Wayne Ferbert has moved a motion in Parliament that, if approved, would prevent the courts from sending people to prison for debt. He explains his reasons to VSB News' Brian Darby.
I believe that we've come to that part. We should not be locking up people because of judgment debts. The courts have other powers. They can garnish one's salary. They can go after one's assets. But to be locking up people and then let the taxpayer pay for that is not. I don't think we're past. I think we're past that stage. So I'm asking Parliament to support the amendment by the Progressive Party that we remove the responsibility or remove the powers of the courts to just lock up people, or even threaten them. If you don't pay a debt, we're going to lock you up. And that's where we're at.
Other countries that we admire and sometimes follow with our laws, England, America, and Canada, they've taken a completely different approach, haven't they? Yeah,
I've done some research on the debt. In the olden time, England used to lock up a lot of people because that was called the Debtors Act, where people were locked up. I understand that England removed that in 1890-something. The United States ruled it unconstitutional for people to be locked up because of debt. The ALCU believes that it really targets the poor individuals within our society. And some people may argue, well, you're not being locked up because of debt, you're being locked up for contempt of court. Well, whichever way you want to say it, it's still being locked up because of debt. We need to have creditors to be more responsible for their own affairs and not allow the government to get involved in doing this.
You can count on us.
Save $1.30 on Purdue fresh chicken leg quarters, just $1.59 per pound. Your choice, tree-ripe nectarines or peaches, $2.99 per pound. ShopRite Albo macaroni, $1.29 for a 16-ounce box. Save 83 cents on Good Sense trash bags, $1.99 for a box of 10. Clean up with Scott paper towel, only $1.79 for one roll. All stores open Monday through Saturday until 10 p.m. and Sundays 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us.
Laugh. Learn. Love. Life on Logic TV is that much better. Logic TV bundles include Internet plus access, high-definition TV, and home phone, starting at $179 with a free install. LOL. Enjoy life on Logic TV.
Now at Big Savings Zone, there's the Kids Zone. See the latest bedroom ideas for tots to teens. There's a large selection of beds, bedding, all kind of furniture designed especially in mind for your child. And see the array of accessories for all ages. Big Savings Zone is the home of Ashley Furniture and Serta Mattresses in Bermuda. And the Kids Zone is only at Big Savings Zone at the end of Stocks Road, St. David's.
I just downloaded the Layer app for the Bermuda Sun, and it is so cool. You can find so many new videos, and you can watch sports and news and pictures and everything. You have to download it. It's really neat. All you have to do is put your phone over the image, and the image comes to life. You have a full video of everything. It's really, really neat.
Yes, I just downloaded the Layer, and it works pretty good. I think it's good.
I've never seen anything like it. It was unbelievable.
Yes, I tried the app this morning, and I think it's great.
Welcome back to Vsb TV 11. Planning building codes are being updated for both residential and commercial buildings. Building Control Officer of the Department of Planning, Omar Douglas, the department's plans examiner, explained why Bermuda needs new building codes.
The present codes are somewhat outdated. I mean, the last time we had an update on our current codes was 1998, so it's 16 years since we've had a review of these codes. And obviously they require some advancement and updating.
Why do we need new building codes?
Well, obviously, I mean, the reason we have codes is to ensure the viability, safety and structural safety of any structures that we put forward. That's the reason that we have codes in the first place, to ensure that there is a structural safety. But obviously what we need to do is keep forward with technology. We have advancement in, say, solar energy, obviously materials, new materials, and just the general construction technology that advances at quite a rapid rate these days. So it's important that we keep pace with that.
And this, of course, will take into account buildings that go up a little higher than they used to in the past.
That's in fact true. I mean, obviously we have two separate codes, which is under the umbrella of the Bermuda Building Code. We have a residential code, which covers buildings up to 2 stories, and then the commercial code will cover multi-storey structures and any residences over 2 stories. So that's essentially what we look at.
Will the new codes be of benefit to the average householder seeking to expand on their property?
Yes, it will be of benefit. It would improve technology of the building product, and we would hope that if any impediment that occurs, it will be very, very minimum. We want to keep our codes to a minimum standard, and we don't want to be extravagant, so we're trying to keep it at a minimum.
So this is June. When will this come into effect?
This will come into effect on November 2014, and that will be after a public consultation between June 26th to July 30th.
Now we'll take a look at the daily markets presented by Bias.
Here are the daily markets presented by Bias. U.S. equities rose in the final hour of trading, and European equities had their first weekly drop since April on worries over unrest in Iraq and the Ukraine. U.S. markets stocks rose as equities reversed losses in the final hour of trading. The S&P 500 increased 0.16% to close at 1961 after losing 0.3% earlier. 26,322 shares of Banker Butterfield, 3,000 shares of Argus, 1,000 shares of Ascendant, and 500 shares of Keytech traded hands today. Bank of Butterfield gained 0.5% to close at $2 a share, while Keytech, Argus, and Ascendant were unchanged. UK stocks advanced after 3 days of declines. The FTSE 100 index added 0.34% at the close of trading in London, paring its weekly loss to 1%. Asian stocks fell as a Federal Bank official stated that the U.S. may raise interest rates by March. The Nikkei fell 1.39% to close at 15,095. The Vsb headed for a second straight weekly loss as a stronger real dimmed the outlook for Brazilian exporters. The Vsb closed at 53,157, a loss of 0.65%. U.S. Treasury 10-year notes were little changed to yield 2.53% at close of trading in New York. The yields on 10-year notes dropped 7 basis points this week, the most since May 16th. U.S. dollar falls against most of its major peers, its lowest level in 6 weeks, as reports this week caused investors to speculate that the U.S. economy recovery has not fully gained traction. And that was a look at the daily markets presented by Bias.
Copyfax is Bermuda's authorized Samsung dealer. See a large range of Samsung color and black and white multifunctional machines, printers, scanners, faxes, and copiers, and all networkable. Copyfax has Samsung machines suitable for home, office, or any size business in an A4 format, taking up less room than other similar equipment. And replacement supplies are in stock for all of their Samsung products. Affordable shopping at Copyfax Limited, where service comes first.
Save more than half price on Bar S hot dogs, just 99 cents for a 1-pound package. Save $3 on Northwest Bing cherries, $4.99 per pound. Only $1.19 for a 5-ounce tin of ShopRite Chunk Like tuna. Save 98 cents on Libby's corned beef, $3.19 for a 12-ounce tin. A cool treat, Friendly's ice cream, $5.49 for all varieties of 48-ounce tubs. Visit our website at www.marketplace.pm for more super specials.
If you've been the victim of an uninsured or hit-and-run driver, your medical and other expenses may not be covered by your insurance. The good news is, there is coverage. The Motor Insurers Fund can provide you with compensation to help you through the crisis, whether suffering from physical injury, loss of wages, or extra expense incurred as a result of your injuries. For further information about the Motor Insurers Fund, visit mif.bm or call 505-8555. The Motor Insurers Fund, assurance after the unexpected.
Hi, I'm Peter Juretic, host of Seasons to Taste. Tune in on Tuesday night during the Vsb Tv 11 News. I'll be here with Executive Chef Derek Myers from the Island Restaurant Group. He's going to be preparing this lovely pulled pork slider dish with a country slaw and find out what the Gosling's wine of the week is.
Tuesday during the Vsb Tv 11 News.
Welcome back to VSB. Now let's take a look at the sports report with Earl Baisden.
The surroundings of Police Field in Prospect this morning was turned into a sports battle zone as members of the Bermuda Police Service, Customs, Immigration, Court Services, and the Bermuda Fire and Rescue Services all took part in the Inter-Service Sports Day. In the morning, there was a cycling time trial along with a 5K run and walk. Although there was a brief shower that delayed things for a few minutes, the day continued with volleyball being played as well as football. The highlight of the day was the Bosses race that featured the Commissioner of Police, Mike DeSilver, and Lucinda Pearman, the Collector of Customs. The participants during the 60-meter race had to dress in full police riot gear before crossing the line, which was won by the representative of the Bermuda Fire and Rescue Service, with Pearman finishing in second place. Day one of the 2014 USA IGC World Gymnastics Championships, so members of the Bermuda Gymnastics Association finished in first place in the Copper Medium Team Division. The winning team members included Maya Farbert-Jacobs, Rihanna Evelyn, Naomi Proctor, Cindy Smith, Laura Hupman, and Coyote George. The Bank of Bermuda Foundation ITF Junior Tennis Tournament continued at the WER Joe Stadium yesterday, with the top seeds in both the male and female in the under-18 division both bowed out of the tournament. Bermuda's Tyler Smith, ranked 7th in this tournament, defeated the top-ranked Alicia Gracie from the United States of America. Smith stunned Gracie in the first set, winning 6-2, but Gracie would come back and win the second set 6-4. Both players showed signs of nerves, not being able to hold serve, with Gracie taking a 3-2 lead. But from there, Smith would not lose another game, taking the third and final set 6-3. Meanwhile, the under-18 boys top seed, Juan Carlos Alguero from Bolivia, suffered a back injury and had to withdraw in his match against American Alfai Alfani, who won the first set 6-3. The Bermuda Basketball Youth Federation hosted its second night of its Basketball Summer Jam inside the Barclay Institute Gymnasium. A night after going down in a heartbreak, the Bermuda Women's Select Team were able to defeat the University of Pittsburgh's women's team 63-48. The Bermuda Women's Select Team could have been wondering if it was going to be deja vu after taking a 26-21 lead, similar to the lead they had in the first match, but they were able to hang on and tie the series at 1-1. Erica Woods led the Women's Select Team with 25 points, while Janaea Wade-Frey chipped in with 24 points. Kayla Dames led the University of Pittsburgh in the scoring department with 13 points, while Cynthia Sevic added 10 points. Only one race was sailed on day 3 of the 2014 Achilles World Championships in Newport, Rhode Island, where some 95 boats have taken to the waters. Mark Watson and his crew now hold on to 22nd place with 169 points, while Tim Patton and his crew are now in 72nd place with 317 points. The Bermuda Cricket Board and Goslings today announced Terry Frey as the winner of the weekly Shivers Cricket Sportsman of the Week. Making the announcement for the Cricket Board was Miss Kim Jackson.
In the game between the under-17s and Warwick Workmen's Club on Saturday, the 21st of June, there was no official score to either team. In spite of a busy schedule that day, Terry stepped in to score.
Emma Harvey continued competing in the Scottish National Age Group Swimming Championships in Aberdeen, Scotland. A day after winning a bronze medal, Harvey finished second during the 10-12 girls 200-meter backstroke final, picking up a silver medal, clocking a time of 2:34.39. I'm Earl Baisden reporting for VSB Sports.
People and Places with Charles Webb. Mondays in the VSB TV 11 Evening News at 7:30, 8:30 and midnight. Sponsored by Big Saving Zone at the end of Stocks Road, St. David's.
The Defense broadcasting stations have more diverse programming than any other broadcasting company in Bermuda.
Lord God Almighty, Jesus Christ.
1280 AM, the Bible Broadcasting Network. Beautiful, conservative Christian music and programs 24 hours a day. 1280 AM, one of the stations of the Defense Broadcasting Company.
Well, another beautiful day in that cloud cover meant it wasn't quite as hot as it has been, but the weekend's here, so that is great news. Unfortunately, saw a couple of showers as I was driving over here, so I don't know what that means for the weekend. I'm Shay Barker, and this is your weather. Let's take a look at our weather shot for today. Today's shot taken by Cheryl Harney at 1:30 over in Hamilton. You can see all the boats for the Newport Bermuda race, and this was just a great shot. And you can see those great cloud formations off in the back, the water in front. And like I said, just a beautiful day, not too hot. My family got to go to the beach, and they enjoyed themselves. Thanks to Cheryl for sending in that shot. Our highs and lows for today, you can see it wasn't that bad. 83 our high temperature at 2 p.m. Our low temperature, 76 degrees at 5 a.m. this morning. Currently, we're looking at 80 degrees. Humidity is 75%. Winds out of the south-southwest at 11 knots, and the barometric pressure is unsteady at 30.13 inches. So far for June, we've seen 1.9 inches, which is way off of the 5 that we'd have normally seen. It doesn't look like we're going to get much more, not a whole lot. We're definitely not going to catch up. Total, 25.97 for the year so far, and again, we've slipped below the 26.08 we would have normally seen. Take a look at our satellite map. Well, southwesterly flow is going to continue to bring in this tropical moisture to the area. Shower activity will begin to increase later on tonight ahead of a frontal boundary with a chance of thunder right through into Saturday. Conditions will then begin to settle later on Sunday as high pressure kind of builds back into the air behind the front with a slight decrease in humidity. In the gateway cities, 88 mostly cloudy in Atlanta, mostly sunny and 79 in Boston. Charlotte, possible thunderstorms in 86, 68 and light rain in London. Miami, mostly cloudy and 90. New York, sunny and 82, 95 and mostly cloudy in Orlando. Philadelphia, partly cloudy and 84, 77 and sunny in Toronto, and 85 in Washington and mostly cloudy. For tonight, we're looking at a low of around 76. Cloudy, developing showers and a chance of thunder overnight. Winds out of the south-southwest at 10 to 15 knots, and they will decrease overnight to 8 to 12 knots. For tomorrow, high temperature of around 82. Sunny periods, a chance of thunder. Few showers around. Winds out of the southwest at 8 to 12 knots. There'll be higher gusts in shower, then they'll move out of the west-southwest by afternoon, but overnight, out of the northwest at 5 to 10 knots. For tonight, there is a thunder advisory in effect for mariners. Seas inside the reef, 1 foot. Seas outside the reef, 2 to 4 feet. And your sea temperature, 81 degrees. For mariners tomorrow, there is still a thunder advisory in effect. Seas inside the reef, 1 foot. Seas outside the reef, 2 to 4 feet. High tide, we're looking at 9:57 a.m. And your low tide at 3:57 p.m. Take a look at our 5-day forecast. On Saturday, sunny periods with a few showers, a chance of thunder, high of around 82. Sunday, a mix of sun and clouds with a few showers early, high of around 82. Monday, partly cloudy, high of again 82. Tuesday, mostly cloudy, high of 83. And on Wednesday, a mix of sun and clouds, high of 83. And now it's time for our photo winner of the week. And Cheryl Harney, today's photo is our winner. Congratulations. This is, again, just a lovely shot. That beautiful blue sky, the water in the front there. She's a winner of dinner for 2, so congratulations. Make sure you send in your shot, and you can be next week's winner. I'd like to thank the Bermuda Weather Service for all their help, and a special shout-out to Renika and Devon, who spoke to me up at Leisure Time. They're big fans of the show. I love you guys. Thanks for all the support. And here's tonight's terrible joke of the week. It's one thing I want to do. What do you call an alligator wearing a vest? An investigator. That's it for me. Have a good weekend, y'all.
Despite the hint of rain in the atmosphere, I'm thinking it's going to be a beautiful weekend. From all of us at Vsb Tv 11, we hope you have a wonderful one. Good night. Take care.
Outfit for Shay Barker, provided by Alexander at the English Sports Shop.
Vsb Tv 11, Bermuda.